This is our empty canvas. This obviously does not look great. So
How can you not like that?
Hey everyone, and welcome to the New England Reptile YouTube channel. In this video, you get me, you get a little bit of Johnny Venom, who's right to my right, and we'll get Kevin in here at some point. Today, we're gonna be building a cage for Elvira. Elvira is a mint leg centipede, also known as Scolopendra subspinipes. So yeah, we got a cage picked out, we got a couple supplies picked out. Luckily, we're at the Zoo Creature store right now, so I pretty much have access to anything I want. I have Johnny's help to help me out if I need it. We're gonna start off by adding some spray foam to the background and then adding silicone on top of that to get a really cool textured look. This is our empty canvas. This is an Exoterra, I wanna say it was a medium wide for supplies. We got essentially everything in this whole entire store, which is way more than enough. We're starting out with this stuff, Great Stuff Gaps and Cracks filler, and then we're gonna hit that with brown 100% pure silicone. Once cured, silicone 100% non-toxic, so is the Gaps and Cracks filler. Then we'll go ahead and add in the decor. For now, let's just get the background on, as that's gonna take a little while to cure. So to make this a little bit easier for myself, I'm gonna take the cage and flip it on its back, and then we'll flip it on its side, and we can spray the spray foam on the sides as well. All we're gonna do right now, the cage is flipped on its back, doors are up here now. I'm gonna take this Gaps and Cracks filler, essentially just spray it all over on the background. I'm gonna leave about a 6-inch gap, and that's just gonna be where Substrate goes. I just don't wanna waste the spray foam. I would recommend you do the same. Now we just gotta wait for 30 minutes. While that's curing, because we gotta wait anyway, we might as well be productive with our time. We're gonna go grab some more supplies for that cage.
And substrate.
Johnny said we need substrate. We can go ahead and go there first. For this, we're gonna do kind of a forest floor bottom. So we're gonna have, we're gonna have some soil, we're gonna have some leaf litter. I'm gonna let Johnny pick that out and talk about why it's important.
All right guys, we're gonna go with some Reptisoil for bottom forest floor bedding. It's gonna be a good base for us. We're also gonna mix in some sphagnum moss in there to hold some humidity. All right, next thing we're gonna grab is a larger thing of leaf litter, which is right here. Forest floors always need some, nope, that's not gonna work. We're gonna have to go to a different aisle. Some live oak leaves for bottom leaf litter. Leaf litter is important for them because these animals like to be hidden underneath the forest floor, and when they're open, they're very stressed out, but when they're hidden, they calm down and they do really well. And it also makes a great bioactive bottom floor.
In addition to that, I want to go ahead and grab some terrarium moss to make it just look a little bit pretty. Reindeer moss as well, and I'm just going for different textures. We also have a pretty insane selection of live plants that we can add. Maybe something like that with some purples, like that with some reds. Little pops of color like that make a cage like this stand out, and it sets it apart from the others. And live plants are great for keeping up humidity in your cage. 15 minutes later, it's tacky enough to where it's gonna stay on that side and not kind of fall off. If you're to flip it right away, all of this stuff would literally just fall onto this side. There's pretty much nothing you can do to mess this part up, because we're gonna go through and trim all of this after anyways. So you can see how there's like little holes and whatnot over here. I'm not worried about that at all, because as this stuff sits and cures, it expands. So all of those little holes will be filled in as it sits and expands. And it's time to do the last side. This side is good, same thing as last time. This can is spent, need a new can. So we have to let this cure for about an hour before we can start to cut it and, you know, cut some shapes into it, put some cool stuff on top of it, fit the moss on it with silicone. So we're gonna go sit for an hour.
One eternity later.
This obviously does not look great, and what we're about to do is gonna take it to the next level. We're gonna trim a lot of this back. We're gonna put in some cool decor that we have right here. It's been about an hour and a half-ish since we sprayed all of this last side on, whichever side that was. Once we get it all cut up, I'll show you what we do with the silicone, with some dirt, and with some moss. Now that that is done, we gotta get into the messy part. My least favorite part, because every time I do this, I manage to get silicone at some point on myself. Or at some location on myself. Shirt, shorts, arms, face. I end up with silicone on me, but this is what we're gonna do. And it's really gonna make that background pop and just come alive. And before we do this, what I wanna do is take this stick specifically, because I really liked the way this one looked. So I think I want this essentially right here like that. So what I'm gonna do is grab a clamp this in here kind of where I want it, and then go in and add a little bit of spray foam so that it can kind of get tacky and just sit in there. That spray foam will harden onto this. It'll be hard as a rock and it'll never ever move again. So you can see what I meant. I've got that clamp kind of just holding it in place. Now I'm just gonna go add a couple little dollops of spray foam all around that, and that's gonna hold that in place. That way it actually looks like it's kind of coming out and growing out of the enclosure. That's how I like to make everything look. That gives you a better visual of what I was talking about. What we're gonna do now, so I'm gonna take this, again, this is just 100% pure brown silicone. Put some in Johnny's hand, which it needs to be poked, which I did tell Johnny that it needed to be poked. Johnny said it didn't.
Oh, did I said I don't know if it needs to be poked or not.
Fun fact, if you don't know, these things have a built-in poker, so you can just boop, poke. One little tiny poke is all it needs. Squirt some into Johnny's hands, just making sure it's not coming out the back, which it is. And you can see Johnny just smearing it all over the sides. That's essentially all we have to do now, is smear that all over the sides, get everything covered, and then we're gonna go through and hit it with the dirt and the moss, and it's gonna look insane. Switching up to another color of silicone. This is the second tube. As you can see, we've got, about half of it done, so this tube will probably do it. I am gonna mix some of the darker color in just so we're not light and dark, but it's good to have a couple colors. Yeah, see how easier that comes out?
Wow.
That's how it's supposed to be. All right, we are done with the silicone, and this is what we have. Honestly, it looks pretty cool just like this, but once we go through, add in that moss that's sitting right there, this dirt, it is going to take it to another height, and then we'll go ahead and get our cork bark in, as well as this little piece of wood. Once we get those in is when you're really gonna start to see the cage come alive and kind of get the idea for what we're going for. For now, just gotta work on the background. To do this, super simple. So for the moss, literally all I do is pick this up, find a spot that I want it, and just push it to it, and it'll stick right to it. And I'm about to show you what that looks like. All right, so there's a couple of spots that I know for a fact I want moss. One of them is this hole that's right in here. Literally, I'm just gonna stick this in there just like that. Now, when this cures, obviously all of this is not gonna be 100% stuck, but it'll be pretty close, and then everything that's not stuck, you can kind of just pick off. But the silicone does a really, really good job of grabbing onto stuff. So I'm just gonna pick a couple random spots.
You need anything on the left wall?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit like right in here, in that little crack, things like that. I feel like it just makes it look more like it's actually growing out of that. It's very hard to film doing this. People like Serpa that do this all the time are geniuses.
Oh, dude, when he does those nano tanks.
Yeah, he does everything. Serpa is unfairly good at doing this.
He's just as tall as me almost.
Yeah, Tanner's a tall guy. And then you can kind of do it like that too. Not sure how well you guys can see it. I'll try to zoom in. How it like hangs down a little bit. This is another great way to hide like the little imperfections. Like obviously this piece is not all the way connected there. That's what we've got so far with the moss. Just a couple little accent points. We actually have one other type of moss that I want to open real quick and get that in a couple spots too. And then we'll start with the dirt. This is reindeer moss. All this is gonna give us different color, different texture, and it's gonna look really, really cool in the end product.
Does it give us reindeer?
It does.
Really?
It's actually, that's what this is gonna house.
Prove it to me, I don't believe it.
Baby reindeer.
It's for science.
You'll see.
Show me.
You'll see.
Okay.
So I think the easiest thing to do with dirt is what me and Johnny are about to do. I literally grab it and go like that. That's it. You just do that on the whole cage and you will have a super natural looking background. And then obviously you're gonna cover up a little bit of your moss, but a lot of that will shake off.
When it's dry, you would dust it.
This also makes an absolute mess. If you can't tell, don't do this in an area you don't want to get dirty because you're gonna get dirt everywhere. The benefit of having it inside the enclosure like this is that it saves you a little bit of the mess, but you definitely will still get it. And then if you see some spots that are still shiny, like there's a couple shiny spots that already have dirt on it, you just want to press it in a little bit more. We're gonna show you what it looks like. I'm also gonna preface with something. You can't mess this up, right? You really can't. If you miss a piece, if there's a piece where the substrate doesn't want to stick, after you do this, just go back through, add a little bit more silicone in a couple more spots, stick some more dirt, stick some more moss. Silicone, like I said, once it dries, is completely harmless to your animals. Now you do have to give it like 48 hours to cure before you put anything in there, but you're not gonna hurt an animal by adding a little bit more, and then packing some more substrate into it, waiting 48 hours, it's gonna be perfectly fine. For now, this is what we got. So you can see it just looks like a cave wall, which is usually what I'm going for when I'm doing something like this, is just for it to look naturalistic, like kind of cavey. So it's really pretty, and as this dries, we'll be able to like kind of tap it and shake it out, and a bunch of stuff will fall out. And as that happens, the greens and that other moss that we added will come through a little bit more. Now we got everything cleaned up, we're gonna go ahead and add in the big bag of soil. Yeah. But before we do that, actually, we're gonna go ahead and get, we'll actually get a little bit in, then we'll add our cork bark, because we're gonna kind of like set the cork bark in a little bit. So don't add all of it, just add, you know, a decent amount, and then we're gonna get that cork bark in. That's probably good. So now we're gonna go ahead and spread this soil out, and we made this cork bark, we opened up the back of it so that as they breed, hopefully we will be able to see into the back of it.
And catch it, hopefully.
And yeah, hopefully catch the breeding. Now this is probably gonna be a pain in the butt to fit in there because of this. Oh dude, it fits so good. I am gonna get a stick to put in between this, or inside of this, to prop it open a little bit, just so there's a bigger opening in the back. And I'll show you what the back looks like in just a second. That's what it looks like, so you guys can see light through the other side. So we have a big opening on this whole entire side that hopefully when they're breeding, we will be able to look right in here and see it. Little touches like that, having the back of that open so we can see in there, are what set your cage apart from all of the other cages. That's gonna be awesome to catch centipedes breeding if we get lucky enough. We're kind of scaping this dirt. We're gonna leave it high on this side, a little bit lower on this side, so they have an area to crawl in and out of over there. And then once we get the dirt situated, we're gonna start adding some more finishing touches to make this thing look insane. I hate that gap. I don't like it. I think it looks stupid. So we are gonna take sphagnum moss and just fill that gap in right in the back. Will also be great for keeping humidity up. So we got in another piece of branch right there. We will clean up where it connects just to make it connect a little bit more natural. This cork bark here is just gonna be a hide so the female can escape. We have 3 entrances, so one is right there dead in the center, off to the left, and off to the right in that corner. So now I'm gonna grab plants. Unfortunately, all the plants' lights are off. I'm gonna pick a bunch. I have, like I said, I have this huge plant wall to choose from. So I'm gonna pick a bunch, and then we're gonna get them in, and we'll show you the ones that I pick and the ones that we put into this enclosure. We're almost done. We just need to get some water in there, some lights, and this cage is gonna pop. This is the selection of plants that I have chosen. All of the plants sold at Nerd are animal safe plants, so we know that these are good to go inside this cage. We just gotta figure out where they go. I just went and grabbed Kevin. He should be on his way down now. You guys are gonna get his real reaction. I told him if he thinks it sucks, tell me that it sucks, but I think he'll like it. In like actual working time, we did this in like 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it's just sitting around and waiting for like foam to dry and things like that. And I think it came out insane. Let's see what Kevin has to say. All right, Kev, I want your real opinion. Don't lie to me.
2 hours.
2 hours, roughly.
2 hours, Kevin.
That looks good to me. Well, yeah.
So
How
this
can
is
you not like that?
Well, no,
their
you missed
first
it.
time
Look at
seeing it.
The penthouse is in the back.
Yeah, we got an area in the back so we can see them breeding,
Oh,
maybe.
yeah. Look at that.
Again, it's really hard for me to show that on camera. It's very glary, but
Yeah, I'm just...
obviously the sides don't look good, but we can put something on the sides to kind of block that out.
So unlike other... I watch sometimes people do these instantaneous cage builds and it's like, look, that's a poison arrow frog thing. We have to let this cure, right?
Yes.
yeah, we said that.
We that's why we didn't add her.
Yeah, no, it's gonna take probably
I really like it. It looks awesome.
2 days for it to cure fully.
Yeah, that really looks great. That's some good stuff. So you took your foam and then you glued...
Foam, so it's spray foam direct to the glass, silicone, brown silicone, 2 different kinds of brown on top of that. And then cocoa fiber, a little bit of dirt, some reindeer moss, and then the regular green moss. Like 5 live plants, I think. Sphagnum, there's a little water bowl right there. But yeah, man, I think it came out amazing for being able to do it in 1 day.
It's great.
Kevin said it looks great.
I'm gonna go blind.
I got the buy off.
Bye, guys.
I hope you like this video. I hope you like seeing the 2-hour cage build, 1 day cage build, whatever you want to call it. Like, subscribe, comment, join the memberships if you want to and if you can afford to. Kevin, wrap us up.
Hello. Anyways. Shut up! That's terrible. Whatever he said, guys. You guys are great. Thank you.